The kingdom of heaven is like a famous man who everybody wanted to be friends with and wanted to be connected to. Everybody knew that they had to be friends with this man to go anywhere. They would not advance in their career if they were not connected to him. He was not only famous, but he was well connected, and he was the key to anybody's success. He was like a famous actor in Hollywood who was the guarantee to be famous if you knew him. And now, this man had some friends. Some people knew him, but many people said they knew him. A lot of people may have seen him or heard a quote from him or been around him in a party, but they didn't really know him. So a lot of people, though they may have seen him or knew something about him, said they knew him to advance their career. And many people really did have some kind of career because they said they knew him when they didn't. But then the time came for the really big contracts, the really big important things to happen, and the only people that got that job, the only people that got the connections are the ones who really knew him. The kingdom of heaven is also like a kid who was very popular in high school. He had a lot of people who wanted to be around him, who wanted to hang out with him, who wanted to be seen with him. Now, he had people who were close to him, really good friends. And he also had people who he was on good terms with, more like acquaintances. They were friends in a way, but they weren't really close to him. And even people who he didn't know wanted to be around him. So he ran into hard times. He went to jail, and he got out of jail, and he lost his job. He was expelled from school. He lost his place to live, and he lost everything. So he went to his closest friends first, and his closest friends would not help him. They wouldn't even talk to him. They wanted nothing to do with him. They looked down on him. So he went to those people who were sort of his friends, but more like acquaintances, and they wouldn't even so much as look at him. So he went to all of those other people that wanted to be around him, that saw him and wanted to be around him, but the followers kind of, and neither of them would have anything to do with him. So he ended up going to people who had no idea who he was, to people who have never seen him nor heard him, and they are the ones that helped him. These people who has never heard of him are the people who gave him a place to live, gave him food to eat, put clothes on his back, and helped him get off on his feet. And they're the ones that have inherited the kingdom of heaven. They're the ones that have entered into his friendship. And all these other people who were his closest friends and who loved him and followed him, they do not know him. They're not around him, and they end up going to hell.
What shall we say then? Shall we say that we can live in sin however we want because we're under grace and not under the law? God forbid. How can you possibly live a life of sin? How can you possibly choose to disobey the Lord and love Him? You cannot do that. You have to repent.